Hare Krishna and welcome everyone to our weekly sessions on nectar of instructions. We've been discussing, I think we concluded discussion on the first two verse, and today we will begin with the third verse. It's a very interesting topic coming up as Rupa Goswami explains the process of bhakti in different ways, and that will be that as it gets revealed, it's so nectarian, it's so beautiful. So let's take a look at what we have got today. The topic for today's discussion is practical devotional service, and we'll be looking at third verse 3 of Nectar of Instruction. And we'll look at the verse. We will not be able to conclude the verse, but we'll look at some portion of Srila Prabhupada purport, which is very significant for our understanding of what devotional service is all about. And so we start with the chanting of the Pranam mantra for Srila Rupa Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svadatikam. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet. So by praying for the mercy of Srila Rupa Goswami, let's begin the discussion on the verse 3. We'll take a quick look at a couple of verses which we discussed earlier. We'll not go into those again, but the first verse which we spoke about was Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jivha Vegam, Udarapastha Vegam, Eta Vegam Yo Vishaheta Dhira, Sarvam Apima Prithvimsa Sishya. Such a person, that person is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Sarvam apimam prithivim sa shishya. So you can make disciples all over the world. Which kind of person? The person who has ability to control, to tolerate the urges, various urges. And the 6 types of urges which are mentioned here, urge to speak, urge of mind demand, manage demands of your mind, growth, and jibha, udar, and upastha, vegam. So these urges one needs to tolerate. And such person, one who can tolerate, can become guru, can take disciples all over the world. And if you become disciple of such a guru, so these are the qualifications that one should search in a guru. If you desire to make a guru, you should be looking for such qualifications in a guru. And what such guru will do? He will teach the same qualities to his disciple. And the guru will also have attachment to Krishna. And he will pass on that attachment to his disciple as well. So that's the role of the guru. The verse 2 we discussed already. Pratyaharaha prayasascha prajalpo niyamamraha jansangascha laulyamcha shadbhir bhakti vinashyati. These 6 activities, if one is engaged into, it can destroy one's devotion. These 6 type of activities, if you engage yourself in, will destroy, will extinguish your devotion. आपका जो कुछ भक्ति लता बीज ग्रो हो रहा है वो उसको डिस्ट्रॉय कर देगा. Which are these 6 type of activities? Atyahara. Prabhupada translate it as eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required, or endeavoring for getting more than what is necessary. You have to try, you have to endeavor, or intervening for mundane things which are difficult to obtain, talking unnecessarily. Prajalpa means talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. Niyamagraha means has a twofold meaning. One is practicing the spiritual rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. That is Niyama Graha. Janasangashya means associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And Laulyam means being greedy for mundane achievement. These six activities, these six qualities, if one can attain, when one gets this, when one gets these qualities, their bhakti will be destroyed. Their bhakti can get destroyed. So one, as a practicing devotee, we need to be very careful about these activities. We have to guard ourselves against these activities. We have to be extremely, we have to protect our Bhaktilata beach from these activities so that our that beach can grow into a lata or creeper who can take us to the spiritual world ultimately. We discussed in detail in our last session the relationships, the association, basically so there is Krishna on top, and there is me, that is on in the first in the first relationship is between us and Krishna here. The second relationship is between us and devotees or others, other people in our society, other people in our family, our friends, our colleagues, our the social circle that we have. Now we have to work hard to cultivate our relationship with Krishna. Simultaneously, we are forced to have relationship with the rest of the society as well. Now, the rest of the society, the people in the rest of the society, also have their direct relationship with Krishna. They are also supposed to cultivate their relationship with Krishna. The triangle works best when we are working to cultivate, nurture, nourish our relationship with Krishna, and others who are in contact with us, they are also trying to nurture their relationship with Krishna. This is best case situation, and in that case, our relationship with them can also be very healthy because both of us are trying to develop our relationship, our respective relationship with Krishna. So both can actually help each other cultivate their respective relationships with Krishna, and at the same time have nice relationship between them. This is a best case scenario. Second best can be we work hard on our relationship with Krishna. Others may not be interested in developing their relationship with Krishna, but we may push, we may induce them, we may influence them, and basis our influence, they start cultivating their relationship with Krishna. So this is also nice. This is not bad. That we continue to work on our relationship, and we continue to work with others who in turn who we help others to develop their relationship with Krishna. This is also nice. Third is maybe they remain neutral in our life. They that we have we they so we are working on our relationship with Krishna. We are doing japa morning, eating only prasad, going to yatras, attending temple artis wherever possible, and we are doing everything devotional service. And to cultivate our relationship with Krishna, we are reading scriptures, everything we are doing. At the same time, we have relationship with other family members, and they may not be interested, they may not be inclined to develop their relationship with Krishna, not on their own, not by our force, not by our push also, but they choose to remain neutral. They don't interfere in our cultivation of our relationship with Krishna. They remain neutral. Now they may not be a devotee, but they can still be a good sattvic person, not harming other people, not really bothering much others, may lead a sattvic lifestyle, but they may still, at this current stage, they may not be interested in developing their relationship with Krishna. Now they are neutral to us. Now this is also a very important phase. This is maybe third best, or not the best, not the second best, but maybe the third best. But they are at least not. They are not doing anything. They are not doing japa. They are not reading Bhagavad Gita. They are not reading Bhagavatam. They are not coming to temple. Maybe they are taking some prasad. They are occasionally visiting temples on festivals, but no serious endeavor from their side to develop their relationship with Krishna. In this case, what they are best doing is they are not blocking our relationship with Krishna. And in that case, we have to value these people. Maybe we have to give them time when we are not doing devotional service. We should take care of these people. We should value their contribution in our bhakti, because if they were to become hostile, they can actually come and block our. These people could be very close, family members, very, very close friends, spouses, they could be uncles, they could be aunts, whoever. I mean, these people can actually, if they are remaining neutral, even that is helping us in a big way. So we should be very grateful to such people. We should be very thankful to such people. We should value their contribution of being neutral in our bhakti, and we should do whatever we can to best help them, in any way possible. We will not be able to engage in their actions. They may want to do certain things, and we may not be available for those things considering our do's and our don'ts. However, just by remaining neutral to us, and not becoming a roadblock in our practice of bhakti, they are helping us, and we should be very grateful to them for that. The fourth case can be where these people actually turn hostile and try to come here. They come in between us and Krishna. And by becoming that, they become a roadblock for us to practice. This prevent us from stopping. This try and stop us from practicing bhakti. This is where the relationship actually can become very hostile and very difficult. Not just because they are not devotees, they don't necessarily become bad people. We have to be very careful. And when they come in between us and Krishna, that's where the difficult phase begins, and for a devotee, and he must deal with it with care and guidance taken from the senior devotees, and more tactfully, more strategically, he should handle the situation. There's no one answer, which can fit all situations. So it can be very situational. What one has to do can be very situational. So this is where we need problem solving. We need devotees in our life to identify people who are close to us, where they are in this triangle. Are they here? Are they here? And even if wherever they are, how should we dealing with them? What should be our approach to deal with them? And anybody who goes through this struggle of handling people around us, because practicing bhakti is not easy. So anybody who is practicing bhakti, we should value that person greatly. We should not consider such person ordinary. One who is prepared to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, come read Bhagavad Gita, read Bhagavatam, come for the classes, visit temples, come for yatra. Such persons are great souls because they are going through all this struggle personally to try to become devotee of Lord Krishna. It's never a cakewalk. At any age, it's never a cakewalk. So we should value their struggles, and then we should value their devotion. With that devotion, or whatever bhakti they are performing, we should really take care of those devotees if they are around us, and we should really not let them down by our actions in any way. So we should value such all those devotees who are trying to practice bhakti despite of all the difficulties that they might be facing at home, from their friends, from their relatives, from their spouses, and so on and so forth. So that's what we should do, and we'll continue to see how to deal with devotees in the subsequent verses. The Rupa Goswami elaborately, explained this point more. The third verse onwards, the Bhagavad Gita, the nectar of instruction actually changes the tone. The first two verses talks about a lot of restrictions. You shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. A lot of sense control is being spoken about. But from third verse onwards, the tone, the logical tone changes to what you can do to make your bhakti grow. And everything from here onwards till the end is very, very positive discussion. And it tells us how should we conduct, how should we do, what should we do, and what are the symptoms of highest, the best devotees that we can all hope to cultivate in ourselves. So, starting from the third verse, which goes like this: that utsaha nishchaya dhairya tattat karma pravartanat sangatyagat sato vrittihi shadbhir bhakti prasiddhati. So in the previous verse, it was about Shadbhir Bhakti Vinashyati, Vinashurva Bhaktika, and which means your bhakti will be destroyed. And now Srila Rupa Goswami talks about Shadbhir Bhakti Prasiddhati. The six principles favorable to the execution of your devotional service. And these six principles are: one, being enthusiastic, utsaha, being enthusiastic; nishchaya, and nishchaya means endeavoring with confidence. Three, being patient, dhairya, being patient. Fourth, tatta karma pravartanat, acting according to the regulatory principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. Fifth is Sangatyaga. Sangatyaga means abandoning the association of non-devotees. Sixth is Sangatyaga Sato Vrittihi. Sato Vrittihi is following the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Shadbhir Bhakti Prasiddhati. These six principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. So even if you can just do these six activities, Prabhupada writes in the translation that these six principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. Devotees who search for assurances, there's no bigger assurance given in the scripture than this, that complete success of pure devotional service, that is assured. if we can do these things. And they're not very difficult. If you read through what are they talking about? Utsaha, Nishchaya, Dhairya, then acting in accordance to the regulatory principles means doing following the regulatory principles, the four regulatory principles that we have, that no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling, and no these four regulative activities, no meat eating, no, these four activities simply we have to follow, and then we have to do activities which are recommended, like doing japa, reading scriptures, associating with devotees, and engaging ourselves in practical service, so that we can remember Krishna 24/7 and go back to Krishna at the end of our life. So utsaha nishchaya dhairya tatat karma pravartana sangatyagat sato vrittihi shadbhir bhakti prasiddhati. So this sixth principle will assure us complete success. Prabhupada writes in the purport, he starts the purport by writing, a devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. Its substance is practical activity. We're going to spend some time on this particular sentence itself, that Prabhupada is writing the devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. Why is he writing like this? What is the mood? What is it that he wants to convey? That it's not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. Its substance is practical activity. And he quotes a verse from Srila Rupa Goswami, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the 11th verse of the first chapter, they say that Anya Abhilasha, he gives a definition of unalloyed bhakti, that pure devotional service. The definition is Anya Abhilasha Shunyam, Jala Karmadhi Anvartanam, Anukulyena Trishnanim, Sheelamam Bhakti Uttamam, Uttama Bhakti, or unalloyed devotion unto Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, involves the rendering of devotional service in a way that is favorable to the Lord. This devotional service should be free from any extraneous motive, Anya Abhilasha Shunyam. So there should be no external motive to our service. It should be a hetuki, without any hetu, a hetuki without any motive, bhakti, causeless service, without any ahetuki bhakti, ahetuki seva. Without any hetu, we should serve Krishna. This devotional service should be free from any extraneous motive and devoid of fruitive karma, impersonal jnana or other selfish desires. So, anya abhilasha shunyam and shilanam bhaktir uttama. The shilanam is cultivation. Cultivation is performance, actual performance of devotional activities, devotional service. Now, the devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. Let's come back to this. But it's a substance is practical activity. Why is Prabhupada saying this? What does he imply? Anybody can unmute and speak. We don't want to spend too much time on this, but can anybody imagine why is Prabhupada writing like this? The first sentence. It's not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. And its substance is practically, what is he trying to convey in this?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam.
Yes, sir.
So, that everywhere Srila Prabhupada has actually given that bhakti is a practical service. Bhakti is not that even just merely by worshipping in our minds and thinking about Lord Krishna and not doing anything practical. Srila Prabhupada has not said that the devotional service, because without our engagement, as Srimad Bhagavad Gita says that pratyakshva gamam dharmam susukham kartum avyayam, that devotional service can be felt is very very pleasing to hearts, but when it is done practically, when it is pratyakshvagamam dharmam, when with the direct evidences it is seen directly, when someone is involved in that, then it is very susukham and avyayam, it is imperishable and it is very joyful. So hopefully, that was my understanding on this, that why Srila Prabhupada has said that only sentiments will not take us to that level, but our practical involvement in doing something for Krishna, so that remembrance of Krishna or for some kind of service we are performing for Krishna may or will take us there at the platform of remembrance of Krishna. So,
Okay. Yeah,
Hare Krishna.
nice. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Anybody else want to say anything about this? Yes, Anand. Yeah, Mata, you can unmute and speak. Anamita,
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam. So I do agree with Vikas Prabhuji what he said. But one more thing that I would like to add is that we should follow the scriptures and do whatever devotional service we do. We should not just speculate in our minds how it is to be done and all. By reading the scriptures, knowing what is exactly what is to be done, that only we need to do. That is what I do understand. Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, both of you. Anybody quick comment? Anyone has any thought? Or we can move forward. That's fine. So, the Prabhupada is stressing hard on the sentimental speculation and imaginative ecstasy. Now, we'll see what it means, and as we go forward. So the focus in this verse is on Shilanam. And Shilanam, which means cultivation. Now, cultivation that is favorable to Krishna. So, what if somebody claims that, while doing morning japa, they closed their eyes and they were chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and they saw Radha and Krishna appeared in front of them, and they were dancing in rasa dance, and he could see those visions of rasa dance taking place in Golok Vrindavan, sitting here in the material world. And by seeing that vision, the tears started flowing from his eyes, his body started shivering, and all this. If someone describes such thing to us, what would we say? Yeah, anybody can unmute and speak. What can be our response? What can we say? What can Prabhupada say to such a person with reference to what he has written in the purport just now?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So,
Yes, sir.
in our terms, actually, we may say that he is very exalted personality. But Srila Prabhupada, actually, once I heard from one devotee, he says that the sincere devotees will never reveal that they are getting this kind of ecstatic symptoms, and they will be even more serious and will be in more immense, intense serving relationship with Lord Krishna. So, as per Srila Prabhupada, actually, if someone is actually imitating these kind of symptoms, he is to be called as a imitator, means he is not a real devotee. And so these kind of symptoms are happening to the senior devotees and who are actually getting more and more intense with the Lord Krishna in serving him, but they are not showing it off. So he is not a sincere devotee as per Srila Prabhupada if he is showing, if he is revealing that I am getting these kind of symptoms. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Right. Hare Krishna. So basically, these symptoms can be faked very easily. That anybody can say. And what is the reason why somebody is saying like this? That indirectly he's saying that I'm advanced devotee. That by seeing this, by getting darshan of Radha Krishna, by seeing the pastimes of Golok Vrindavan sitting here in the city of Mumbai, which is full of sin, what do I convey by speaking like this? That I'm a very advanced devotee. I'm a very exalted devotee. So this is an advertisement of one's devotion. That is not what someone is supposed to do. Now, and this can easily be faked, even if one is getting those visions by Krishna's mercy. One has to translate this love. Love is a sentiment end of the day, and that love, even that love can. This is not the only measure of one possessing love for Lord. The one who possesses love for Lord will act in that relationship, will act in the relationship with Lord. Now, bhakti is not just getting some visions or getting some experiences, experiencing the shivering of skin or getting tears in the eyes when kirtan is going on. Bhakti is not sentimental activity alone. The sentiments are important and they will come eventually as we progress in our bhakti. It will come, they will come normally, very automatically they will come, but one need not focus on those aspects. Sahajiyas, they do only focus on that aspect. So these people are, they will imitate pastimes of Radha and Krishna and thinking that the Radha and Krishna has entered our bodies and they can do all kind of immoral activities in this name, and that itself has brought a lot of bad name to the movement. But that is not the measure. That is not the measure of our bhakti, our devotion. Love is a sentiment. Bhakti is a sentiment, but it is not only sentiment. It's a relationship. Any loving relationship, any the love between two persons. The love implies presence of two people. There is an object of love and there is a lover. And there is a reciprocation, and that's why it is a relationship. The relationship is always centered on around activities with performed with great commitment. It's not just saying I love you 100 and 1000 times. That implies that the person actually loves you. But when he act in that relationship with commitment, that is the measure for his love, whether it is true or false. The activities, talking about activities, the gopis left everything. We heard the stories that Krishna played flute in the middle of night, and gopis were in their respective homes, taking care of their families, children, their husbands, and their in-laws, and their brothers and fathers. Everyone was, they were in the middle of night. All of that they leave aside and they just go because they get a call from Krishna. The calling from Krishna was so strong that they couldn't think of caring for any other thing, and they didn't knew what would happen to them when they can come back. And so they left everything, and for the pleasure of Krishna, for the service of Krishna, they left everything, and they went to the Vrindavan forest in the middle of night. Now, at least when we say that they were hopeful of getting association from Krishna, so they had some motive, some benefit for which they left. Rasavarjam rasopyasya param drashtva nivartate. They had higher taste. They had higher pleasure in store, for which they give up lower pleasures. One may argue like that, but when Narad Muni went to the same gopis and told them that Lord Krishna is having headache, and only from only the dust which come from the feet of a devotee can rescue him, can cure this headache for Lord Krishna. And gopis, Radharani, everybody came out and started dancing in the dust, saying that take as many dust as you want to Narad Muni. Even if it can bring relief to Lord Krishna for a moment, we are happy. But Narad Muni said, you are all village girls. Do you even know the meaning? What will happen to you if I apply dust from your feet on the head of Lord? You will go to hell forever. And those gopis were not caring. They said, we don't care. Even if we can bring relief to our Lord for a moment, also, we are ready to rot in hell forever. Even if we can do that little seva for Lord, now here there is no pleasure for going to Vrindavan forest in the middle of night. At least had some pleasure in store for gopis, that they knew they would get chance to associate with Krishna. But here they were ready to go to hell for eternity just to relieve Krishna from his headache. Now that is why gopis are considered to be the topmost of all devotees. Their activities, they are not just by their emotions, just by their sentiments, how much love that they possess. The love can be expressed through activities, and the gopis were engaged in those activities. That's why those gopis are considered to be the highest, topmost devotees, topmost of all devotees. So the essence of bhakti is just not feelings, no, which are important, no doubt, but the feelings which are expressed through commitment and committed actions. Now, though that part is more important. Substance is how we are practically serving Krishna with commitment. Now, that is measure of our love for Krishna. That is the measure of our devotional service. That is the measure of our devotional service. That is the measure of our devotion towards Lord Krishna. Prabhupada used to often ask that you will grow in bhakti when you will feel, where every time you go and stand in front of deity, Krishna is asking you, what are you doing for me today? What have you done for me today? If you feel that Krishna is asking you these questions, then you should know that you are growing, and hopefully you are able to answer those questions with positivity. That what are you doing for Krishna? And you should be doing things for Krishna. The love for Krishna is not just sentiment, not just emotion, not just feelings that we have. Those exist, those are there, but love is something more. In love, you act. You just don't. It's not a passive thing. It's an action oriented thing. Closest to the spiritual love that we have between the spiritual relationship we have with Lord Krishna, the closest experience to that comes in the material world is visible or can be demonstrated between love between a mother and an infant child. Now, infant child, mother is the most selfless love, the deep selfless love that we can experience with Lord Krishna in our relationship with Lord Krishna or in the spiritual world. Similar to that, closer to that, may not be exact, but closer to that is love between mother and an infant child. Now, mother may hope that mother might also think that the child will grow, become nice person, and when she grow old, the child will take care of me the way I'm taking care of my baby right now. But those are not very prominent motivators for a mother to take care of her baby. Mother does everything for a baby from the day baby is born till baby become 5-year-old, 10-year-old, become independent and start doing things on his own. Mothers are practically doing everything for them. So the babies are like alarm clocks. They go off anytime. We have alarm clocks which we set up for a certain time, 5 o'clock, 4:30, some are even 4 o'clock or 3:30. So we expect the alarm to ring, buzz at that time, the whatever time we set. But babies are like alarm clock that go off anytime. There's no time, and um, mothers will have to get up. We when alarm clock go off, we the first thing we search in that in the mobile is snooze button. How can I snooze it, get extra 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. The babies don't even have a snooze button. So the moment the baby start crying in the middle of night at any time, mothers, no matter how tired they are due to the previous day's birth, no matter how much in deep sleep they might be, no matter which dreams that they were seeing, keeping all that aside, mothers will wake up, immediately look after the baby, take care of baby, whatever is needed. If baby needs to be fed, she will feed him, or whatever needs to be done to comfort a baby, she will do. No matter without looking at the clock, what time it is. How can baby he just slept, and half an hour later, baby might start crying, and mothers will have to take care of her, to take care of those babies without really complaining. And so this is so the love that mother possesses for a baby is not seen through how many times she say I love you to that dear child, but is seen through her service, how well she's taking care of her baby. And if the service is not there, then it will not matter how many times she's saying to that baby how much she loves that baby. It will not matter. It will not. I mean, it will not matter really. Because saying I love you but not doing anything to take care of the baby is actually saying I don't love you. So that's her love is seen through her service. There's a story comes in Bible that about two women claiming baby to be theirs, one baby to be theirs, and that dispute went to King Solomon, so is supposed to be the very intelligent, very good king of his time. And so the dispute was there, and the king heard both sides, and then he concluded that since there are no witnesses, he cannot decide uh, baby belongs to whom. So he orders that maybe you cut the baby into two pieces and give each woman one piece of the baby. And hearing such order, one woman agrees, and the other woman gets horrified. She said, "No, no, 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 no! Don't cut the baby into two pieces. Don't harm that baby. Give that baby to the other woman. Let that baby go." And now the king immediately stops everything, and then the one who is sacrificing the baby is the real mother. The baby be returned to her. Now, why? Because if you really love, you will do anything for taking care of the object of your love. The baby is mother actually loves her baby, so she can't see her baby get hurt. And she's not interested in hurting the baby at any cost. And for that not to happen, she is ready to do any sacrifice. The biggest sacrifice for a mother is to give away her baby to anybody else, and she's ready to do that. So immediately king stops and orders the baby to be returned to that lady who was giving that sacrifice, not the one who was ready for cutting those babies into two pieces and take one half. So the love is tested with what we are ready to do for our love, how much sacrifice we are ready to do for our love. Prabhupada says, substance of bhakti is practical activity, is not sentiment, not emotions alone. And who else exemplifies this other than Srila Prabhupada himself? So at the age of 68, 69, he was living in Vrindavan. He was done with his family responsibilities. He accepted Vanaprastha, he gave up his family, accepted Vanaprastha, came to Vrindavan, stayed there, accepted sannyas ashram eventually, and become a sannyasi, was known in Vrindavan, would get often invitations to speak about Krishna consciousness from various forums. He would travel to different places for speaking. He was doing his translation of Srimad Bhagavatam. And generally, he was respected, very well known and very well respected in the entire Vrindavan amongst his Gaudiya Math community. He was well known. And if he wanted, he could have continued to live in Vrindavan, doing bhajan, doing kirtan, speaking occasionally about Krishna consciousness, writing into various scriptures. He could have spent the rest of his life happily in Vrindavan without any difficulty. However, he was now that is itself considered glorious. Now, this is also doing Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. That is also considered to be part of devotional service. This is also service to Krishna. That we, instead of taking name of a film actor or actress, we are taking name of Krishna. We have choice and we exercise our free will rightly so that we can cultivate constant remembrance of Krishna. Now, that is also considered to be service, but Prabhupada was not just happy with that. Now he could have done that, nobody would have, and he would have been still glorified. He would have gone back to Godhead, we would have got glorified. That's also, that itself is glorious. Even if somebody today decides to do that, it will be considered glorious because most people will leave their bodies in their home, surrounded by their relatives, asking who are hoping to get share of this property. This person himself will be thinking which plot of land to be given to whom, how that plot has to be sold, how much this plot has grown, how much this wealth will cost, where what will happen to my wealth, what will happen to the jewelry I own, what will happen to my bank balance, what's happening with my PF account, PPF account, and so on and so forth. So many worries, so many miseries that this person will all be contemplating upon at the moment of their death. And so the same will be the state of their relatives. What will happen to us? What will happen to me? What will I get out of this? This is all what will happen. But unfortunately, but Prabhupada had come out of all that and went to Vrindavan, and he could have led a very glorious life till end and could have left his body in Vrindavan and would have gone back to Godhead. But this was not enough for him. He wanted to do something for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wanted to do something for Lord Krishna, something glorious. And the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was to spread the glories of Lord Krishna all over the world. And Prabhupada was given this instruction to do that. So he was not happy sitting idle, sitting in Vrindavan doing Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. He stepped out of Vrindavan and took great risk of going to the United States, where he knew nobody. He had no institutional support. He had no devotee followers, and he had no home, no money. And in that condition, he went into New York and started living with hippies. And those were the people who were breaking all regulative principles. The only Prabhupada sometimes used to say that they have already done Sarvadharman Parityajya. They were not following any religion. They were not doing, the only religion that they were following was to be irreligion, was to follow irreligion. The only dharma that they were doing is following adharma. So this was, they were doing everything that one should not do. And those were the people amongst whom Prabhupada started living in New York. And they became interested through kirtans, through his one-to-one discussions, and they started coming for his weekly Bhagavad Gita classes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Prabhupada started cooking for those people. Devotees, sannyasis especially, they have certain standards. And then nobody can just go and serve them. People, they accept food from certain kind, which is of certain type, cooked by certain people. Certain devotees only need to cook for them. That initiated devotees must cook for them. Nobody, only initiated devotees should go and serve a sannyasi. So sannyasis follow different standards, completely different standards they follow. Now here, Prabhupada was not getting served. Prabhupada was serving whom? He was serving non-devotees who were breaking all kind of regulatory principles. And not only he was serving, he was cooking them. He was cooking for them, cooking prasadam for them. He was serving them prasadam. He was picking up their plates and he was cleaning their plates. And he was doing it all very happily because through these actions, he was able to bring one person closer to Krishna at a time. One person at a time was coming closer to Krishna through these actions because those people were becoming Krishna conscious. They were getting attracted to Lord Krishna slowly and surely. And Prabhupada had his head high, his eyes were in the material, in the spiritual world, but his feet were firmly in the material world. And he wanted to do what Krishna wanted him to do. Krishna wants every soul to return to him, and Prabhupada wanted to become instrument in that process. Prabhupada says often that his purports are his devotional ecstasies. Now, ecstasy doesn't mean what do you mean by ecstasy? Ecstasy doesn't not only means that you get ecstasy by remembering some exalted pastime of Radha and Krishna that nobody else knew, or Srila Rupa Goswami himself was meditating once, and he was started seeing visions of spiritual world, and where Lord Krishna and Radharani were walking in the forest of Vrindavan, and Radharani sees a flower up on the branch of a tree, and she wanted Krishna to pick it up for her, and then Krishna says, "No, I will lift you." From behind, you yourself pick it up, and then he lifts her from the behind, and she holds on to that branch, and then Lord Krishna leaves her there. And then she started, she's hanging and crying and frantically asking for help, and Krishna starts laughing mischievously, and seeing this vision, even Rupa Goswami starts laughing. Now this kind of vision, seeing this kind of vision, seeing this kind of activities happening in spiritual world is possible while we are here. And such visions, such pastimes, sweet pastimes of Krishna, Lord Krishna, can give us ecstasy. We can experience ecstasy by witnessing such pastimes ourselves as well. But that is not all. Prabhupada says, "My purports or my ecstasies," doesn't mean that his purports is describing any of these things, which is giving him ecstasy. No, his ecstasy comes from the fact when Lord Krishna gets ecstasy. Now, his object of love is Lord Krishna. Prabhupada is in love with Lord Krishna, and he gets ecstasy by giving ecstasy to Lord Krishna. And how Krishna gets ecstasy? When he see that a soul is returning back to him, a soul is becoming interested in him, instead of becoming interested in movies, Bollywood, Hollywood, cricket, tennis, politics, economics, stock market, buying cars, buying properties. He's focusing on me. He's focusing on reading Bhagavad Gita. He's focusing on reading Srimad Bhagavatam. He's focusing on getting up early when the rest of the world sleeps after midnight. A devotee wakes up early morning and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So for that, he sleeps early. So one such example of Prabhupada, doing what he does best is this particular purport, translation and purport, which comes from Srimad Bhagavatam, the first canto, 10 chapter, 17 verse, where it's a description of Lord Krishna leaving Hastinapur and going towards Dwaraka, and a beautiful scene is narrated by that how Krishna is leaving and who is doing what as Krishna prepares to leave for Dwarka from Hastinapur. Now the war is over, everything is nice, and all those things are there, are described, and then the whole description comes when when everyone preparing himself to say goodbye to Lord Krishna as he departs from Hastinapur. Now everyone is very unhappy, but everyone is very joyful that they get at least last time at least they get an opportunity to do something for Lord Krishna. So everyone is engaged, eagerly trying to do something for the pleasure of Krishna. And this particular 17th verse says that what Arjuna does. At that time, Arjuna, the great warrior and conqueror of sleep, who is the intimate friend of the most beloved Supreme Lord, took up an umbrella which had a handle of jewels and was embroidered with lace and pearls. Now, such a sweet pastime is going on. Such an intimate relationship is getting uncovered. The actions are getting uncovered, and um, Prabhat could have written a beautiful purport describing what was happening in Hastinapur, how everyone is it's so much devotion, so much sweetness is there in this particular scene, in this particular pastime. But we'll read the purport. The purport, Prabhupada is focusing on gold and jewel and pearls. That gold, jewel, pearls, valuable stones are used in luxurious royal ceremonies. They are all nature's gift and are produced by the hills, oceans, etc., by the order of the Lord. When man does not waste his valuable time in producing unwanted things in the name of necessities, by so-called development, Prabhupada is talking about industrial development, development of industrial enterprise in such a sweet pastime. Now, why is he doing this? He's doing this because he does not want us to get distracted in the name of devotion. Now, he could have written a actually beautiful pastime, but how are we supposed to relate with that pastime? At our level of love for Krishna, we cannot understand most of those exalted pastimes. But what we can understand is jewel, gold, pearl. That is Aishwarya. That is what the whole world is running behind. And Prabhupada says that they are using margarine instead of purified butter, and 1/4 of the city population has no shelter. Now, what so-called industrial development in development of industrial enterprise has done is they have destroyed the social values, the social culture, and the whole society is today practically destroyed. Now, Prabhupada is writing for in response to such a sweet pastime, nectarian pastime, he is writing something which is very practical, which people can see around themselves. And so basically, what Prabhupada is doing is can be best understood like this: that Prabhupada is writing purport to give Krishna ecstasy. Now, Krishna loved all his souls, all the souls who have gone away from him, wandering in so many planets, so many species, searching for eternal happiness. All of us are even a cockroach, a dog, a hog, a tiger, an elephant, a cow, and all the other human beings are searching, are wandering from one species to another. Sat yoni janmasu, and doing what? Doing their searching for eternal happiness. Now, in this lifetime also, all our efforts are directed towards getting some happiness. And we want that happiness to last forever. The eternal happiness is what we are searching. And this happiness only Lord Krishna can provide. But nobody is interested. Nobody is interested in looking at him, coming back to him. Nobody is interested in thinking that maybe Lord, I should try this option also. So Lord Krishna is eagerly waiting for us to come back, but no one is interested. So what does Prabhupada do? Prabhupada is removing obstacles between us and Lord Krishna by destroying our misconceptions, by breaking the walls of misconceptions. He is bringing one soul at a time closer to Krishna. And one such misconception that we have is industrial progress, industrial growth of industries will bring us happy. Will make us happy. Will bring happiness to us. It may bring some comforts to us, but it cannot make us happy. Rather, Prabhupada is showing the other flip side of that and saying that half of the population is homeless today and everyone is unhappy. Those who are working for 16 hours also are unhappy. And those children are unhappy, the youth is unhappy, the old people are unhappy, everyone is unhappy, the animals are unhappy. So what are we achieving? What have we achieved after this growth? We have best of facilities and worst of nightmares. And when with the tears in our eyes, we say cheers. So we live in a very horrible condition where the whole of population today has mental issues, and that is the outcome of the progress, the so-called progress, so-called industrial development, so-called technological development, and that has led to such a mess that everyone seems to be a patient of a psychologist. They're acting, thinking, and behaving in that way. They're running behind. They're setting goals to acquire more prosperity, which for which they over endeavor and they destroy all their relationships and they become extremely unhappy. Even if they were to achieve those goals, they still become unhappy. So Prabhupada is removing those misconceptions through his purport. So if when we read his purports, we don't we a lot of our fundamental doubts gets clarified by reading purports from Srila Prabhupada, and that help us come closer to Krishna, inch by inch, bit by bit, one person at a time. And by seeing that happening, Krishna becomes ecstatic, Krishna becomes happy, and by Krishna's happiness, Prabhupada becomes happy. So that's why Prabhupada purports are Prabhupada ecstasy, spiritual ecstasies. So bhakti is a sort of cultivation. Prabhupada writes in the purport that as soon as we say cultivation, we must refer to activity. Cultivation of spirituality does not mean sitting down idly for meditation, as some passive yogis teach. Such idle meditation may be good for those who have no information about devotional service, and for this reason, it is sometimes recommended as a way to check distracting materialistic activities. Basically, from preventing you from doing nonsensical materialistic activity, at least then meditation help in that way, because during that time at least you will not do nonsense, you will not watch movies, you will not flip through channels, you will not flip through sports news, you will not try to remember politics, you will not try to remember which stock went up, which stock went down. At least during the meditation period, whatever the time of meditation that you will do, 1 minute, half a minute, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour, whatever you can do, you're at least trying to stop nonsense in your mind. You're trying to focus on mind, but that is not sufficient. Prabhupada says we don't recommend doing that, because devotional service, however, not only puts an end to the nonsensical mundane activities, but also engages one in meaningful devotional activities. So it's not just stopping one's activity, because nature of soul is to be active. Soul will always search for activities. So by sitting in meditation, by preventing soul from engaging in activities, nonsense by stopping, preventing soul from getting into nonsensical activities, it is helpful. But one has to also engage in some meaningful activities, some meaningful devotional activities. Now, devotional service does both. It stops you from doing nonsense and engage you in doing meaningful devotional work. That's why the simple meditation is useless, but devotional service is effective. Another example comes of Srila Prabhupada's mood, Srila Prabhupada's devotional mood comes from the offering of Gurudas Prabhu. Gurudas Prabhu was also one of the early disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and he was engaged in overseeing the construction of Vrindavan temple. And he was traveling to Vrindavan. He was supposed to travel to Vrindavan along with Srila Prabhupada who were to come from abroad. So he landed in New Delhi and took a vehicle to travel to Vrindavan. And during the so up till now, the Gurdas Prabhu or all the Western devotees, they had very beautiful picture of Vrindavan in front of them in their mind by reading through the Krishna book or Srimad Bhagavatam, different purpose, different talks of Sri Prabhupada. They had a very sweet picture of Vrindavan. That Vrindavan must be like this. Vrindavan must be where we will see all peacocks flying here, there, all the trees have jewel, thoroughly jeweled and beautiful. They actually envision the picture of Golok Vrindavan to be actual Vrindavan in UP. It is, as so they were very happy when they got the opportunity to travel around with Srila Prabhupada, because then they thought maybe Prabhupada is a exalted devotee, maybe he will narrate to us some pastimes of Radha Krishna, which we have not heard so far, or some intimate pastime he can share with us, which will be very nice. And with that expectation, they sat in the car, and as the car drove from Delhi to Vrindavan, the Prabhupada was very grave, very grave. At around that time, there was a great scarcity of cement in our country, and the construction was going on in full swing, and construction needed cement. And Prabhupada was extremely grave during this entire journey. He didn't spoke a word. And then all these devotees, Western devotees, they thought maybe Prabhupada is a pure devotee of Lord. Maybe he's thinking of some pastime. So we should not disturb a pure devotee. So if he's grave, he's not speaking. Maybe we will allow him to meditate on the pastime of Lord Krishna, on Radharani, or whatever. So they also didn't disturb, but they were all eagerly waiting for Prabhupada to speak something. And then Prabhupada, as the vehicle was going closer to Vrindavan, finally Prabhupada spoke one word. And the Gurudas Prabhu says that word shattered my imagination, my expectation, my knowledge, my learning about what a bhakti is, what devotion service means. And Prabhupada said, the one word that Prabhupada uttered or spoke during that entire journey is cement. Now the cement, it was a time when there was great scarcity of cement in the country. And Prabhupada was extremely worried that he didn't wanted his temple construction in Vrindavan to be stopped because of non-availability of cement. And so he spoke. He was traveling to Vrindavan after spending so much time abroad. So imagine what must be going through his mind. But his feet were firmly on ground. He wanted to construct a temple for the devotees. He wanted to give that temple to the devotees before he leaves the planet. And for that to happen, cement was needed. And so he was inquiring, how are you planning to acquire cement? And when the cement came, he made devotees count each and every bag and locked them as if they are bags of gold, because there was a time when the cement scarcity was there indeed, and Prabhupada was in a hurry to finish the temple and hand it over to inaugurate the Krishna Balaram deities and hand it over to his devotees, so that whenever they can come to Vrindavan, they can spend some time there, and they need not worry about not being allowed to enter some other temples. They can have their own Krishna Balaram Mandir where they can practice devotional service nicely. So devotional service is not sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy, but practical activity. So Prabhupada was worried about, Prabhupada also could have thought of Radha Krishna pastimes. He was a pure devotee, so it's not difficult for him to think of, to see, to visualize, to envision those pastimes as they happen in the Golok Vrindavan. But his focus was on service. And unless and until a nice temple is constructed, how my devotees are going to come and are expected to come and chant in this place. So I can sit under a tree and chant. I can see Vrindavan is filled with so much fruits of devotion. I can see them everywhere. Mayapur is filled with so much mercy from Mahaprabhu. I can see it everywhere. but the ordinary people can't see. So I can sit under a tree and chant with no facilities, but ordinary people will not even come to Mayapur if they don't have basic facilities. So a temple construction is necessary, a guest house construction is necessary. Create some rooms, give some facility to people to come and actually experience spiritual activity. And when they will get a taste of that spiritual activity, they will be able to perform with more commitment. They will be able to perform bhakti with more commitment. So a practical activity needs to be performed, and to be able to do that, we have to at times keep aside our loving sentiments or ecstasy. Even if so, Prabhupada did that many occasions. It comes in this Leela that once in I think in Boston or Toronto temple. It was a time for Janmashtami celebration was going on, and everybody, Prabhupada, towards it was coming to midnight. Everybody was hungry. They fasted whole day, and they were eagerly waiting for Prabhupada to speak something. It was time was coming to closer to the midnight. So Prabhupada was. Prabhupada suddenly, closer to the midnight, Prabhupada asked somebody to read from Krishna book, one chapter. And somebody started reading, and then chapter ended, and everyone thought maybe Prabhupada will speak something, and then we all can have prasad. But Prabhupada said next, and then the devotee started reading the next chapter, and the next, and the next, and Prabhupada kept asking devotees to read. And it went on well past midnight, and everyone was so hungry, but they just couldn't. The Prabhupada, it was a book written by Srila Prabhupada himself, and hearing this was giving him ecstasy. Hearing his own book was giving him ecstasy, and he suddenly got lost in the process, and he forgot that all these devotees are also hungry and they all need to be fed. And then eventually devotees brought him to his external consciousness. He came to his external consciousness, and then allowed devotees to have kirtan and take some prasad by performing after performing arti. So there were few occasions when Prabhupada had demonstrated the sentiment, the ecstasy that he used to experience about Lord Krishna, but not too many, because Prabhupada concealed them from the rest of us, because one, devotees won't understand, and second, it won't help them perform devotional service. So therefore, Prabhupada kept things very practical. What are you doing for Krishna? Now, that is your devotion. That is the proof of your devotion to Lord Krishna. Your love for Krishna is expressed through the practical service that you do for Krishna. So, a service that we do for Krishna, the activities that we do for Krishna. Now, the chanting is also an activity, reading is also an activity, but there could be practical activities that we get the opportunity to do for Krishna. And these services that we do, like book distribution, everybody was, both the team was out yesterday, and today also they plan to go to Vashi. So this is service. Now this is beyond chanting and reading, which we are anyway supposed to do, but this is making difference in somebody else's life, bringing a soul close to Krishna. There is a potential hand that we play, we become nimitta matra in somebody getting connected with Krishna. And now that is a different service. And now this service is a vehicle. Service can be a vehicle for our devotion, and can be an engine for our devotion as well. Now we'll understand both these concepts. That some people, I was asked this question by many people, that as we see in ISKCON, whenever the kirtan starts, be it Mangal Aarti at 4:30 a.m. or Shayan Aarti, the devotees start raising their hands, they dance, they sing out loudly, mridanga is being played, kartals are being played. So it's not quite ceremony. Now, devotion, some people actually have asked me that, I'm sure must have been the case with most of you, most of you who are there on the call, the 50 or who are there on the call. It must have happened with most of you that they say that if bhakti is pursued, you love somebody, you love your deity, love Lord Krishna. Why make a show of it? Why you have to loudly dance and sing and make a show of your deity? It is personal. If it's a matter of heart, keep it in our heart. Do it quietly. Why don't you do it quietly? Why you have to do it or create a show of bhakti? Now, kirtan is not exhibition for people's consumption. But kirtan, when devotees raise their hand and then they dance in kirtan, this is their expression of bhakti. Now, expression is not meant for people. Expression is meant to be consumed by the object of our devotion. That's meant for Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to see. So devotees don't raise hands so that the people around them can see. They raise hands so that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can see. Lord Krishna can see them dancing in the kirtan. So by doing service, by doing actual practical service, by chanting and by dancing in kirtan, we practically show our devotion to Krishna. So the relationship is between the Lord Krishna and his devotees is all about activities. The Prabhupada writes in the purport Achyuta, the word Achyuta comes that he's Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. The word Achyuta comes in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I think in the 24th verse, where Prabhupada writes in the purport that Krishna is always eager to serve his devotees, and his devotees are also eager to serve Lord Krishna. And there is a sweet exchange that continuously go on between Lord and his devotees. There's a sweet exchange. This sweet exchange is continuously going on. So devotees also look for opportunity to serve Krishna, and Krishna also look for opportunity to serve his devotees. So Krishna is serving Arjuna, his topmost devotee, is one of the most favorite devotees by becoming his chariot driver, which is a menial work. Why should anybody become anybody's driver? But he is happy. Krishna is happily doing that seva for the pleasure of his devotee, and devotee is ready to kill his own relatives for the pleasure of his Lord. So this is a sweet exchange that continuously go on between Lord and his devotees, and this happens in this world when Lord appears and along with his devotees, and this also happens in the spiritual world, where nobody is meditating on sitting quietly and meditating on the Lord, thinking how much they love Krishna. No, it's not a place where it's not such a boring place where nobody is doing anything. No, it's a place where everyone is doing something for the pleasure of Krishna, and Krishna is also reciprocating with each devotee individually and giving pleasure to the devotees. So it's not a place where everyone is. Imagine going to a place where everyone is sitting idle doing nothing and just thinking and meditating on the Lord in the heart. And now, if this is a place where everybody is sitting down, meditating, thinking about Lord and not doing anything, it might be a peaceful place, but it might not be very attractive place for us to go, because soul's nature is to act. Soul nature is to do things. And if soul doesn't get to do things for a long time, it will just get bored. So it's not a very attractive place. So devotees will be devotees. So the spiritual world is a place where devotees and Krishna both are engaged in performing practical activities for the pleasure of each other. Now that is the place. And so the service or the activities that we perform for the pleasure of Lord is in a way the expression is a vehicle through which we express our love for Krishna. When we do something for Krishna, it's like a vehicle. Vehicle is a place. If I want to go from here to Pune, I need a vehicle. If I want to go from here to Mayapur, I need a vehicle. I need to take an airplane or take a vehicle to go. So vehicle carry us. Similarly, the activities that we perform, they carry our devotion. They carry that devotion that we have possessed, no matter how small it could be, no matter how insignificant it can be, but they are carrier of our sentiment, our loving sentiment for Krishna, and through the service, they go from us to Krishna, and Krishna receives it, and then he reciprocates with us. If we were not to perform service, we will have we may claim to have a lot of devotion for Krishna, but it will be very hollow. It will be a hollow claim of having loving sentiment for Krishna if we are not doing anything for Krishna. So our love for Krishna, our devotion for Krishna can only be demonstrated through what we are doing for Krishna. And that same is true in any other material relationship. Relationship devotional service is also like an engine for bhakti. Engine means it fuels our bhakti. It increases our bhakti. By doing devotion, our bhakti gets revived, stimulated. So our devotion, love for Krishna at the moment is very small. Now we are not our bodies, we are spirit souls. And as a soul, we have an eternal relationship with Krishna. Mame Vangsha Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manashashtani Indriyani Praputisthani Karshini. Now we have forgotten our relationship with Krishna, because of which we ended up coming to the material world and where we are karshati, where we are struggling very hard, moving sat asat yoni janmasu, moving from one species to another species, not wandering from one species to another species. We are not traveling, we are wandering. The difference between wandering and traveling is that traveling you have a goal, you know where you have to go. Wandering is going around without any purpose, without any goal. So we are wondering, Brahmande Brahmito Puno Bhagyavana Jeev. So we are not traveling, we have no goal. We are just aimlessly, we are going in one direction, sometimes another direction, some other time. One species of life, sometimes another species of life, another time. And like while doing this, we are incurring karma and we are creating more lifestyle for ourselves in future. And in the whole process, we have forgotten our eternal relationship with Krishna, our eternal loving relationship that we had with Krishna, that has been forgotten. But by performing devotional service of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, will gradually help us revive that forgotten love for Krishna. Now, originally we had that love in us because when we were in spiritual world, we had that relationship with Krishna, we had that loving sentiment with Krishna, but through so many millions and billions of lifetimes of covering, we have forgotten that. And now, by engaging in Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, by engaging in these activities, 9 processes of devotional services, which Prahlad Maharaj recommends, we are slowly trying to uncover that lost love, that forgotten love. We are trying to uncover that. And when it will get fully revived, then we will become fixed in devotional service. We can become fixed. So in that sense, the actual activities of devotional service also act as an engine to our devotion, our actual love. Our love can increase by performance of these devotional activities. So it's like example can be given that we are all suffering from amnesia. Amnesia is when sometimes in movie we see that a hero is traveling in a car and a car fell off from a mountain or hit some big stone and hero's head is hit to the driving wheel or somewhere, and when he wakes up, he is forgotten who he was. He's forgotten. He's been rescued by a tribal gang, and who engages him in the activities that they do. And his father comes searching, and then he finds his son, but his son has forgotten him. He instead of calling him as his father, he asks his father who you are, and then the father has a challenge. Now he's found his son, but his son has lost his memory. There's no love that he can find in his son. He's not able to reciprocate love with his father. Now, what can his father do? His father can start showing various objects of affection or attachment to his son. Maybe this is the pen that he used to use, a favorite cap of his son, a favorite shirt of his son, a favorite gift that his father must have given to him on his say, 15th birthday or 18th birthday, a favorite whatever those dear things to his sons, a father can start showing them one after another, and seeing them slowly, the son's memory may get revived of his previous life, and then so when we perform devotional service, something similar happens. The son doesn't have to learn how to love his father because he already know it. It just because of the layers of this amnesia, because of this sickness, because of this incident where he got this amnesia, he forgot the relationship he had with his father. He forgot that person even was his father at all. Um, so after getting that, reviving that his original consciousness, he's naturally going to be in loving relationship with his father anyway. The moment he remember who he was, he will not have to be taught how to love his father. He know that anyway. All he need to do is to get to his original memory, revive his original memory. So we are not learning how to love and serve Krishna. We are, through these activities, we are trying to revive our original consciousness. Now, once that is restored, once that is achieved, I can love my father eternally. I anyway know how to do that, and I can do that automatically. I can start doing that automatically. So the process of devotional service, the practical activities that we perform in our bhakti, they are also like engine. They fuel our love for Krishna. They help us fuel our devotion towards Krishna. And once that, because it happens through the revival of our original consciousness that we have towards Lord Krishna. To summarize, we discussed about the first verse. We have still not started discussing the individual concepts yet. The devotional, which is the utsaha, what do you mean by utsaha? What do you mean by nishchaya, dharya, and so on and so forth. So we will not yet touch upon those topics, but we'll do that in due course in subsequent Sundays. But today our focus was on understanding that that bhakti is not a sentimental activity. Bhakti is a practical activity. Bhakti is practical, and substance of bhakti. You may have love. Love is an emotion. Love is a sentiment. But we have to act in that sentiment. We just don't have to stop being sentimental. So loving somebody doesn't mean not doing anything for that person. Then there is no love. The proof of love is in activity that we do for that person, for the pleasure of that person, what is favorable to that person, how much of it we are able to do, we are ready to do, how much of it we are prepared to do, how far we can go to do those activities, how much sacrifice we can do to perform those activities. Now our love is, that is the measure for our love. If it is real love, we will do anything and everything for the pleasure of our object of love. So it's not just mental speculation that I sit down at one place and cry and say that I'm a great devotee of Lord Krishna. I see this, I see that, and I try to, I can easily fake it, but I cannot fakely do physical activity, practical activity. Those I cannot fake. I need to physically do that, and those will be seen. Those will be verifiable. Those can be substantiated. But my love, the sentiment, and the vision of my pastimes, they will not be they cannot be substantiated. And even if I'm getting those by the mercy of Lord, I should use that stimulus that comes to me to serve Lord with more commitment, rather than just stopping saying that I have become a perfect devotee of Lord and you all should serve me. I should not do any practical service. You all start serving me because I'm exalted devotee of Lord. No, you get it wrong completely. So the more the ecstasy that one has experienced, greater will be his commitment to serve Lord Krishna. Greater will be the risk that such person will be taking to serve Lord Krishna, not the other way around. So example we saw that of mother. who just don't say, I love you, beta, to the child. No, she gets herself physically engaged in serving the child, practically doing whatever that is necessary to take care of her baby. And our activities are like our vehicle. They carry our devotion or love that we have for Krishna, that is carried through these activities. That activities show, if you are able to do those activities, they show the Krishna how much we love them, how much we meaning, how do you really mean it, right? That kind of we say sometimes that, okay, you're saying it, but do you really mean it? Then this is, if we really mean it, we will do it for Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna, for doing those activities which gives pleasure to Krishna. We will physically do it, we will practically do it, we will not just plan to do it. So the activities, they are carrier of our devotion for Lord Krishna. Activities can also act like an engine. Engine is which fuels our relationship with Krishna, which revive our relationship with Krishna that we have forgotten. And Prahlad Maharaj recommends 9 processes of devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaran, and so on and so forth. So that by doing these activities, remembrance, we can cultivate constant remembrance of Krishna and go back to Krishna, which is most important, which is the goal of our life. The facility for hearing and chanting happens in the morning japa session, evening through the reading session of Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We'll pause for question answer, and we'll see if there are any questions, or else we can end today's session. So we still not talked about the actual verse, but we are just preparing the background for our discussion, that no stage we should think that devotion service is just sentimental activity. We should be prepared to be asked this question by Lord Krishna, that what are you doing for me today? We should be preparing ourselves to answer this question to Lord Krishna. If he asks us, what have you done today for me? Now we may say we have chanted 16 rounds, and that's all right, but Krishna expects more, and we should be ready to do more. So this is the sum and substance of today's discussions. I'll be happy to hear any questions, comments anybody may have, or else we can end today's session.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam. And you always get some kind of newer and newer topics of Krishna consciousness, which can actually give us a focus, give us a aim to aim for. And like one of the beautiful line, as in this before just conclusion, you mentioned that we already know how to love Krishna, but we are actually not knowing that what is our eternal position. At least I can talk only about myself, because Srila was in connection with Lord Krishna for 24/7, and that is even the situation of pure devotees, and even the senior devotees. They all almost remains connected with Lord Krishna, and that is why all that nectar they can speak about the pastimes of Lord Krishna or the activities of Lord Krishna is because of that. And you gave the beautiful dimension that just we need to get the remembrance of Lord Krishna. And ultimately, what I perceive is that it is only possible if we constantly keep hearing from our senior devotees, constantly try to endeavor actually. Means at least I don't find myself eligible that I can do anything more for Krishna, but at least whatever is coming in the instructions, I can just try to follow that, and maybe by the mercy of senior devotees and acharyas, I can come to some kind of like something can happen through me, and ultimately that whatever is happening is the mercy of our acharyas and senior devotees. But ultimately, this was a very good meeting line that we just need to cultivate remembrance for our Father, who Lord Krishna is, the Supreme Father of all the yonis, as he claims. So you have given a beautiful insight, and maybe by contemplating or by discussing it with you, that how fast we can make it, and what are all other processes can there be, what are the practical implementation of this particular sentence, so that we can cultivate the remembrance of Lord as our Supreme Father, And then, as you mentioned beautifully, we already know how to love our Father. So when we say loving devotional service, it gave me a good joy to hear that we need not to cultivate that how the loving devotional service would be performed, but we need to cultivate first that firm faith, that firm nistha in our mind that He is our Supreme Father, and loving exchanges will automatically start happening once we come to that conclusion. I may be wrong in concluding that will require further elaboration and further beautiful insights from you. But I could understand that we need to constantly work for Krishna under the guidance, under supervision of our senior devotees, under the instructions of our acharyas through scriptures, and so that we can actually cultivate remembrance of Lord Krishna and ultimately eternal love. How means we already know, as you mentioned, that how to love Krishna. So maybe you can give more beautiful insights that how fast we can inculcate those qualities so that our remembrance on our mind can become firm and we can remain that 24/7 Krishna conscious as Srila Prabhupada always emphasize upon. So thank you very much first that for giving that beautiful insight that we just need to work hard on inculcation that we have lost, forgotten our identity. We are trying, and there may be so many good ways that you can actually give your thoughts upon, give the practical implementation upon, and we can work according to that so that we are in perpetual loving relationship with Lord Krishna and his devotees. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your words. So we can, what we can do is we can, so our endeavor should be to how fast we can revive our memory. And that should be our meditation. And the more we engage ourselves in the devotion service, the faster is if faster is our revival of our original consciousness as well. And we have to take risks for Krishna. We have to take at appropriate times. And so by doing that, and again, we should do that in consultation with devotees as well. But we should be prepared to take risks for Krishna. Should be ready to sacrifice for the pleasure of Krishna. And do this through various means. That way we can please the devotees and please Lord Krishna. And that will help us, that will fuel the engine. It's like it works like an engine that will fuel our revival faster than otherwise. And the more we engages ourselves in the service, more we are expressing our devotion, more we are fueling our devotion. Both ways it is helping. So the more we engages in the service, that's the better. And not just service means practical, it also means the practical service, not just hearing and chanting. That's also great if you can do that, but also doing something more. If you can do, if you have capacity to do more, we should do more.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat
Thank you.
Pranam.
We don't have any other questions on the chat, so we'll conclude with today's session, and we'll continue with our discussion in this verse in the coming Sunday. And hopefully you all have a great week. Join Japa session every day. Join the reading sessions every day. And read every day, post every day. We have a reading group of Bhagavad Gita. We have a reading group for Srimad Bhagavatam. Try and read as much as possible, or at least something, instead of not many things, but at least one page, one verse, something, some commitment we can make to ourselves to read. And try and distribute Srila Prabhupada books. As we heard, Srila Prabhupada always often says that these are my devotional ecstasies. They help people break barriers of misconceptions. And even if that can happen 1% at a time, one misconception at a time, a person will move closer to Krishna. And if we can become an instrument in doing that, it will give great joy to Lord Krishna. And it will give great joy to ourselves as well. So in all ways, many ways, this is the most beneficial activity to do, and we should try and do that to the extent that is possible to us by doing whatever we can to help devotees spread the message of Lord Krishna through the books of Srila Prabhupada to the mass community. Not only do that, engage them in hearing and reading services as well. Give them books, also take their numbers, engage them in attending classes. We have Zoom community, we have reading community, and we can give them, we have a reading community in the evening, so which are like open classes, open, anybody can join. We engage them, let them come, attend these sessions. So just don't give them Bhagavad Gita, give them means to understand that Bhagavad Gita as well. We all have that power, so that we can distribute that freely, engage other people. We will never know whose life we will change by our request to join a japa session, to join a Bhagavad Gita session, and Krishna can make us an instrument in changing the life of that person through us, and we can just be grateful for that to Lord Krishna. But we should be prepared to play our part, and more we do that, more happy Krishna becomes with our devotion. So that should be our mood as we go through the rest of the books. The Gita Jayanti is next Saturday. The next of the December month, when we will focus on the distribution board. We should do that all throughout the year, but at least do that more in this current month. I hope we all can do that and distribute as many Srila Prabhupada books as we can. And through that, we can please Lord Krishna and Srila Prabhupada, both of them, and we can get their mercy in our devotion service. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We will continue with this verse in the next Sunday. Hare Krishna. Dandavat to all. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. By God, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.